The contribution of ancient Greeks to human civilization, particularly in the realm of freedom and democracy, cannot be overstated. However, there was a pivotal moment at the onset of the 5th century BC, when Greek autonomy was imperiled as they resisted a Persian invasion. This protracted conflict witnessed a series of intense confrontations, culminating in a decisive naval engagement at Salamis. Without delay, let us explore the events leading up to this dramatic showdown. By the 8th century BC, Greece had emerged from the dark ages of following the collapse of the Mycenaean civilization. Greek city-states began to take shape, with Athens and Sparta emerging as preeminent powers. Meanwhile, the Greek city-states in Asia Minor faced challenges, with the Lydian Empire subjugating them by 560 BC. Concurrently, Cyrus the Great initiated his conquest in Mesopotamia in 553 BC, ultimately encroaching upon Lydia by 547 BC. Despite the efforts of Lydian king to resist Cyrus in 547 BC, his campaign failed, leading to Lydia's incorporation into the Achaemenid Empire. Subsequently, tyrants were installed in most Greek cities under Persian rule to maintain control. Conversely, mainland Greece witnessed the overthrow of the tyrants in many city-states, paving the way for the establishment of democracies, which would play a pivotal role in the impending conflict. Darius the Great expanded Achaemenid dominion into Europe, with Thrace falling under Persian control by 500 BC, and Macedonia becoming a vassal state. However, unrest brewed in Asia Minor, culminating in the Ionian Revolt led by Aristarchus of Miletus in 499 BC, with support from Athens and Eretria. Although the rebels briefly seized Sardis, they were eventually defeated near Ephesus in 494 BC. Despite subsequent uprisings, the Persians swiftly suppressed the revolt by 493 BC. In retaliation, Darius launched an invasion of Greece in 492 BC, but his forces suffered a significant defeat at the Battle of the Marathon in 490 BC. Darius planned a second invasion, but faced obstacles due to an uprising in Egypt. Seizing this opportunity, the Greeks forged a formidable alliance, anticipating Xerxes the First's invasion in 480 BC. A massive Persian force assembled in Sardis and crossed the Hellespont in April, with a formidable navy supporting their advance. The Greek strategy initially involved defeating the Vale of Tempe, but was revised to block the pass of the Thermopylae, led by Spartan king Leonidas, while an allied navy under the Athenian command closed off the Straits of the Artemisia. Prior to engaging the Greek fleet, a storm ravaged the Persian navy. As substantial losses, attempts to circumvent a boa met with further disaster when another storm sank Persian vessels. Initially, the land battle of the Thermopylae unfolded favorably for the Leonidas, but the Persians ultimately outmaneuvered his forces. Despite valiant efforts, Leonidas and his compatriots perished on the third day, enabling a partial retreat of Greek forces. Meanwhile, the Greek navy, commanded by the Themistocles, confronted the Persian fleet, but lacking the sufficient resources, they were compelled to retreat following the loss of Thermopylae and the strategic insignificance of Artemisia. In mid-September, Xerxes seized Athens, compelling a further retreat to the islands of the Salamis for a strategic advantage, where he bolstered his forces with reinforcements, amassing a fleet of 378 ships. With Athens now under Persian control, they utilized his harbor, while Xerxes positions his formidable fleet, numbering 700 vessels, effectively sealing off escape routes. Recognizing the dire circumstances, Themistocles marshaled the Greek navy into formation, with Athenian ships on the left flank, Peloponnesian vessels on the right, and Sparta, Corinthians, and allied contingents in the center. The Persian armada comprised ships manned by Egyptians, Phoenicians, and Greeks from Asia Minor. Despite being well supplied and advised to await Greek attempts to break free. Xerxes opted to engage even though the Greeks were outnumbered 2-1. At dawn, the Persian fleet navigated the Straits of Salamis, with the Phoenicians on the right, Ionians on the left, and the other Greek allies in the center. The Corinthians initially withdrew, misleading Persian commanders into believing the Greeks were retreating. Seizing this opportunity, the Persians advanced, only to find themselves trapped in the narrow straits. Themistocles anticipated the wind shift, orchestrated a counterattack, capitalizing on the advantageous weather conditions. As the wind favored the Greeks and impeded the Persians, the Greek ships gained momentum, engaging the enemy in a narrow front. Exploiting the heavier vessels, the Greeks thwarted the Persian advance, while the Corinthians' ships maneuvered the flank, the enemy's right, with many Persian commanders slain early in the battle. Their navy faltered, unable to coordinate effectively. Greek hoplites dominated boarding actions, forcing the Persians into a slow retreat under mounting Greek pressure, despite Xerxes' powerless observation from a nearby mountain. The Persians suffered the loss of approximately 300 ships, plunging their invasions into disarray. Xerxes withdrew to Asia to evade entrapment, leaving behind a land army, which suffered defeat at a Battle of the Plataea in 479 BC. Concurrently, the Persian navy faced another defeat at Mycale in Ionia. Xerxes and his successors abandoned further attempts to conquer Greece, paving the way for Alexander the Great's eventual conquest of the Achaemenid Empire.